today. I won't be going on it again. But yeah, that's my review really for The Walking Dead. Overall out of 10, I'd probably give it probably a 5 out of 10. Like I say, it was okay. I was expecting.
Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is TheJackSilkstone. So, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, the Walking Dead ride at the Thorpe Park Resort has recently opened and it's been receiving some mixed reviews, as you can probably tell from the video I was just watching there. Just saying, guys, I've got nothing against Sean, I've got nothing against Theme Park Worldwide. That was just a little joke. Sean's review of the ride is linked down below in the description. Go give it a watch. So yeah, I just wanted to get in on the debate and upload my own personal opinions on the ride. I know I have already done this at the end of my press event video. If you haven't yet seen that video, click the link right there to go and watch it.
We are here at the launch event of The Walking Dead, the ride. I am so excited. Let's go.
I've now been on the ride more times, I've been on it 8 times now, so I feel like I am now in a better position to talk about the ride and talk about my overall experience within the attraction. And just before I get into my review, I will say there will be spoilers from this point out. I'm not gonna like talk you through every little aspect that happens, because mostly I think you need to actually get on the ride. Like, me talking you through it won't do the ride justice. If you really want to experience it, then you need to go and ride it itself. So yeah, I won't be talking you through the entire experience, but I will be like mentioning certain parts. So if you want to go in the ride like completely blind, which I recommend you do, then click away now and go and experience it, then come back and rewatch this video. Now then, let's get into the review. As I said, I've now had 8 rides on The Walking Dead the ride, one of which was sat next to a staff member who stayed in character for the whole ride and literally just stared at me laughing. It was a very creepy experience. It made the ride like 10 times scarier than it already is. Actually, there we go. So, back to the ride itself. In my opinion, the biggest thing that I have taken from The Walking Dead the ride is the level of detail that is within that building. Even on my 8th ride, I was still noticing new things within that building, new little Easter eggs and details. Like, there are so many in there. And there are people that are saying the ride isn't themed enough, and I completely disagree, because although there are, yeah, some long corridors with fairly little theming, there are so many little Easter eggs and tiny details relating to the show that you can spot. Like, there are so many props. There's Carl's hat, there's Merle's, I don't know what you call it, like bladed hand thing. So many X No Way Out and X Easter eggs. Like, the number plate of the truck is XNWOWD, which stands for X No Way Out Walking Dead. I think that's so clever. Like, it took me a few rides to spot that one. My personal favourite Easter egg in that building though, in the pre-show, keep an eye on the left screen right as the pre-show begins and you might see some familiar faces. I'm sure if you check the comments down below, there will be someone that has spotted this particular Easter egg. So take a look down in the comments down below if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, that's a very good Easter egg. Credit to Thorpe Park for getting that one in there. But no, talking of the pre-show, that is a major part of the ride that a lot of people are criticising. And I'll be the first to admit, I am with the majority here. I do prefer the Wicker Man pre-show. I do think it is kind of unfair to be comparing it to the Wicker Man pre-show. It is done by the same company, but Wicker Man, literally they could have built anything from scratch. I know I've just compared it, I've said I prefer Wicker Man, but nonetheless it is still a good pre-show. Like, it tells you a story, it does what it's supposed to, and yeah, it does get you immersed. I just think with Wicker Man's pre-show being so good, like, people were expecting a little bit more from The Walking Dead, but at the end of the day, I still really enjoy that pre-show. I particularly enjoy the left screen right at the start. But after the pre-show, you obviously then go into the building itself, and as I said, there are a few long corridors in here, but in my personal opinion, I think it works perfectly, because I was walking down there yesterday and it literally just brought back so many good memories from Living Nightmare. Like, you literally feel like you are in that maze. The audio in there is incredible in my opinion. And if you actually listen out, then the audio is telling you the story of what's going on. Like, you can hear them saying like B has become compromised and if you look on the walls, it says Area A, Area B, Area C, and considering it used to just be a black corridor with a few UV lights and lasers during X, I think they've done such a good job. Like, it's so much more themed now than it used to be. Don't get me wrong, a few actors in there would be incredible. I'll talk about that in more detail later on though. So yeah, I just really enjoy the indoor section of that building now. And yeah, obviously the closer you get to the station, there is more theming. There are definitely a few Easter eggs that you can be spotting. There is even a cabin in the woods reference in there. It took me ages to notice. Someone had to point it out to me in the end because I literally wouldn't have noticed it to this day, but there is a cabin in the woods reference in there. Let me know if you guys have spotted it. And yeah, once you get to the station, you obviously board the ride, and that's another point. I really like how they do their batching outside of the ride building now. It just saves so much time once you're about to enter the station. But yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah, once you get on the ride, I will agree with what most people are saying in the fact that the first half of the ride or so, it is pretty empty. I like how they've got audio and like lighting going up the lift hill, but that first drop and like first two brake run sections, they are a bit empty. I can see how it would have been difficult to theme that section of the ride because it is quite high up and you're moving fairly quickly. But as most people are saying, the ride definitely does pick up in the second half with the amount of theming. The stall section on the brake run, honestly, I think is so sick. Once again, it took me a few rides to actually like comprehend what was happening and the fact that you were like stalling and they were trying to get you going again. And then you obviously drop through the orange smoke, which I only just noticed is because they shoot the barrel. I'm really quite slow. Like, it takes me a few rides to notice these things. But yeah, I now understand why there's orange smoke, and then you go past the walkers with the on-ride photo. And then yeah, you go into the brake run and your ride is essentially over. Like, admittedly, it would have been sick to have a few more effects in that building, but once again, I'm pretty sure it goes back to the limitations fact that it is only a retheme. They couldn't put a load of stuff in there, and I think the stuff that they have put in there is definitely like more than there ever used to be, considering it was just lasers and music. So yeah, there's a lot more to look at now as you're going around. And yeah, the ride aspect itself is definitely very good. Obviously, once you get off the ride, you go through the don't open dead inside doors into the cafeteria, which does make sense in regards to the show, because in the show behind that door is the cafeteria. So yeah, it's just another one of those things that like Thorpe Park have clearly researched this, they know what they're doing, and yeah, it just makes perfect sense in regards to the show. This little ending scene is also very well themed. There are a few mannequins in there, and especially when there are actors in there, it's such a fun little scene. Very scary. On press night, we were terrified, like, as you can see.
Oi, nah.
And yeah, from that point onwards, you do exit down the corridor. There is a slight lack of theming down parts of this exit corridor, but at the end of the day, it is only an exit corridor. Like, as I said before, it used to just be a black corridor, so the fact that there's even anything in there is definitely an improvement on what it used to be. You do then exit the building, and that's the end of the experience. You can go and buy your photo. Fair enough to Thorpe for adding these on-ride photos as well. This is another one of my biggest annoyances about the ride. They have now cut off like that old footpath to get you into the mega store along the new exit path. I know why they've done that, but it is pretty annoying because it's now cut off that path. So yeah, that's one of the weird things about the ride that I kind of disagree with. But yeah, the overall attraction, as you guys can probably tell, I really enjoy it. And I think the main thing that you have to consider before going on this ride and making your opinion of it is the fact that, once again, it is only a retheme. It's not a major investment. Like, it's literally just a retheme of X. So they haven't been able to design this thing from scratch with a big budget. And once you come to terms with that, I think you do start to appreciate the ride a lot more. I know a lot of people went into it with very high expectations, and rightfully so, because Thorpe Park were bigging it up a lot. And obviously, with Fright Nights being, in my opinion, very good, with The Walking Dead as a theme, and obviously The Walking Dead in general carries a lot of hype around it. So a lot of people went in with big expectations, and for me personally, I would say it definitely lived up to these expectations, but I think for a lot of people it isn't quite meeting these expectations, and that's fair enough. Like, everyone deserves their opinion, but considering what this is, a retheme, I think Thorpe have done a really good job, and I personally really enjoy the ride. My one worry for the future of The Walking Dead the ride is the fact that I'm pretty sure there won't be actors in there for much longer. I'm praying that somehow they do find a way to keep actors in there all year round, because the Thorpe actors are so sick, and if they're in that building every day, they'll honestly make it so much better, because although the ride doesn't need actors, they just add to the atmosphere so much more, and they make it like proper scary, especially on that exit corridor. If you can get them chasing / walking behind you, then it just makes that exit corridor so much funner, and like, I hope Thorpe can find a way to keep actors in there all year, because yeah, it'll be sick. And the fact that Thorpe are like promoting it as the scariest ride ever, I wouldn't say it is, but if they're gonna say that, then get some actors in there, and yeah, it will be scary. But yeah, other than that, I really enjoy the ride. I think you guys definitely need to go and experience it before you form any kind of opinion on it, because yeah, me talking about it or others like describing what happens, it won't do it justice. Like, you need to get in there and experience it for yourself. The annual pass night on the 7th of April is a perfect time to do that. The park's open until 10 PM. I'll be there. I know a load of you guys are going, so be sure to come and say hello if you see me about. And yeah, it should be a really fun night. But otherwise, let me know down in the comments below if you have been on The Walking Dead the ride yet. Let me know what you think of it. We'll have a little discussion. Also guys, I forgot to mention that myself and Kieran did film an episode of the Inevitable Theme Park podcast with your boy Ryan Nixon the day after the Walking Dead the Ride press event, where we basically just talk about the Walking Dead the Ride and many other things for 40 minutes or so. So I'll definitely be tweeting out when that episode gets released on Thursday. So yeah, get excited for that. It was a lot of fun to film with Ryan, and yeah, I'm excited for you guys to hear that podcast. I hope you have enjoyed this video guys. Be sure to leave a thumbs up if you have, and be sure to subscribe to be notified when I upload future videos. There will be a vlog from the annual pass event, so hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as that video drops. But yeah, otherwise, my name is TheJackSilkstone. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.